Well, I think my coverage was considered a great success by both the media and the military, but we came very, very close to failing. And that was largely because of some logistical challenges and some misunderstandings on the ground. The mission initially was expected to last just a couple of hours, and the plan was for us, that is the Special Forces and the Iraqi Commandos and myself, to go in, to grab the hospital, and then to immediately turn it over to conventional forces, and then for all of us to go back to our staging area and wait for the next mission, a couple of hours at the most. Now, because we were very, very crowded, we didn't have a whole lot of vehicle space. The public affairs escort who was along on the mission did not want me to take along any of my transmission equipment. He said, "Look, Kirk, we're going to be back in just a couple of hours, so just take your camera because we don't have room for anything else." Now, I wanted to take along all of my standard equipment, which comes in two fairly sizable cases, two large rolling suitcases full of transmission equipment, cameras, and all of the stuff that I would need for operating and transmitting right there from the hospital. But the public affairs officer did not want me to take any of that because he said, "Look, there's just no room." I argued that, "Look, I have to take this because we don't really know what's going to happen once we're there. If the mission gets dragged out, if we don't get back, I'm not going to be able to get this video back, and I'm going to need it, really going to need it to get it back right away. So I have to take this with me." So we argued back and forth, and finally we compromised. He said, "Look, you can take one case of equipment, but not two." So I had to make some very hard decisions. So what I ended up doing is I had to leave all of my live transmission equipment with me. So I took just enough, just my cameras and the backup equipment and my transmission equipment, including my laptop, beacon, sat phone, and cables and that sort of thing. And I took that with me. Now, as it turned out, it's a good thing because we did not get back to our staging area for almost 24 hours. We got to the hospital was seized as planned, but then the word came that we were going to stay for a few more hours, and then the next word was, well, we're going to stay till dawn, and then at dawn shooting began, and there was a tremendous amount of fighting, and so we didn't actually leave there until the fighting died down after around mid-afternoon or so, and then for a whole variety of reasons, we did not get back to our staging area until almost midnight the following night. And at that point, the video would have been completely out of date and useless, and none of it would have made it on the air. There would not have been 1 second of footage of Iraqi commandos in action in Iraq or Iraqi commandos being led by American Green Berets. None of that would have gotten on TV. The only way we got it on was because I was able to take my equipment with me, and I was able to do the very, very minimum amount of editing and very minimum amount of transmitting from the hospital grounds. Unfortunately, I was not able to do any live coverage, which would have really enhanced the overall coverage. It really would have enhanced both the understanding from the public standpoint of what was going on, and it really would have helped the military in their I.O. campaign, which was not really my mission, but if it helped them, that would have been fine. But luckily, I brought along just enough equipment that I was able to transmit from the scene. But if I had not pushed for it, we would not have gotten anything back, and it's still something that gives me a little bit of pause right now.